Outdoors-Delmarva covers everything outdoors, including real fishing and hunting situations involving wildlife. We do our best each week to bring you tasteful content, but viewer discretion is advised. Now, enjoy the show.
This is Outdoors-Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
On this week's episode, we head to Dagsboro to walk through the Delaware Botanic Gardens. We meet a Salisbury man with a passion for walking sticks in Scorchy's Corner. We'll head to St. Andrew's School in Middletown for the Special Olympics Delaware Fall Festival. And we'll swing by Gateway Subaru to share the love.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show dedicated to a commitment of conservation and to the community that makes Delmarva's outdoors such a hidden gem here in the Mid-Atlantic. My name is Jason Lee, and on this Veterans Day weekend, I'd like to say thank you to all the men and women who have served this great country.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here's Jason Lee.
There's a reason why so many people get out into nature when it comes to trying to better their mood. And a quick walk around the Delaware Botanic Gardens might be just what you need in order to make you feel better about whatever's going on in life.
It's always neat to discover something different right in your own backyard, such is the case with the Delaware Botanic Gardens in Dagsboro. Our guide today is Brent Baker, Director of Communications for the Gardens.
The thing I like about the fall season in the garden is you can actually see what I call the architecture of the garden. You'll get an idea, well, look at his design and how many plants he has. And when we get up, I'm going to show you, you'll look back on the garden and you'll see he has these different grass flower combinations. And it's beautiful any season. People say, well, all the flowers are done. Why would you want to come to the garden now? Because you can see the architecture. We still have plenty of color in the garden. We're on a 37-acre site. It used to be a farm field. And the main garden, which is the Pete Aldolf Meadow right over there, is a 2.5 acres, and that was where the soybean field was. Well, who's this guy Pete Aldolf? He's a famous Dutch designer, and it's kind of funny. We had one of our volunteers that's up in Washington, D.C. This is a good internet story, and she was on a blog talking about gardens, and Pete was on there, and she said, Mr. Aldolf, would you be interested in coming to Delaware? We're going to create a botanic garden in Delaware. Anyway, to make the story short, we went and picked up Mr. Aldolf, brought him down here, and first thing he did was he reached down into the soil. He said, I've never done a garden in a beach environment, in a rural environment like this. And so he really liked it. We met a bunch of our volunteers, and he couldn't believe all these volunteers were running this garden. We're going through 2.5 acres. There's 70,000 plants, perennial plants and grasses in here. Last year we planted 84,000 spring bulbs, and we are about to plant 60,000 more spring bulbs. One of the things Pete Aldolf wanted was for people to be able to get up like they're a drone and look back on his garden. So let's walk up to the top of the mound. And when he was building this garden, Pete personally built this mound. He said, you're not doing it right. It's not high enough. It's not the way I want it. And he got out here and he had a shovel and a rake. Now you can look back on this concentric design, see the paths coming around here. There's 2 miles of trails here at the Delaware Botanic Garden. You notice they're flat and wide. They're ADA compatible, so if you have someone that has a wheelchair or some kind of mobility device, they would be able to go around here. We have 12 acres of woodlands, and that's where 86 species of birds are at. And what the birds do, they live in the woods and they come out and feed in these gardens. We don't cut back our gardens till February. Most people come and cut back their gardens in the fall. Why is that? Because this is a home of wildlife. And these insects and bugs and birds, they still feed off of these seed heads. And that's why you'll see all this garden, you'll say, my goodness, that plant's dead. Why isn't it gone away because they come and feed on that particular garden. Now we're going to go up and I'll introduce you to the president and the executive director. The executive director, Cheryl Sweat, was one of the original Delaware people that decided to build a garden here. So she's been with the gardens at the very beginning. And then Ray Sander, who was the president, has been the president since we built everything here. So they know everything about the garden.
We'll continue our walk through the Delaware Botanic Garden right after the break. Outdoors Delmarva, we'll be right back.